Hi everyone, I'm Mariko. I'm a multimodal therapist and intuitive. And in today's video, I want to talk about my favorite self-help tool called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Techniques, tapping for short. And tapping is something I've been doing for 10 years now. And if you follow my channel, you'll see that I regularly post guided tapping videos. Now, this is, for me, the best self-help tool that's out there. It's game-changing, and I want to talk today about what it is, how it works, and why you need to bring it into your daily routine. Because if you do, you'll see it is truly life-changing. So, without further ado, let's dive straight in. What is EFT? So EFT, which is also commonly known as tapping, is a beautiful self-help tool, but it can also be used in a much deeper and more complex way by a trained therapist. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it's called this because it genuinely gives you freedom from emotions, especially the more unhelpful emotions, or I don't even want to call them unhelpful because every emotion is helpful, but more heavy, stuck emotions, let's say sadness, let's say anger, whatever it is, actually stress as a major one. It's excellent at shifting these emotions and calming down the person, calming down your nervous system. Okay, so emotional freedom techniques. Now, what it is actually a combination of many beautiful therapeutic techniques. In fact, it really combines the best elements of many different modalities. So, number one, it combines or it utilizes the ancient practice of acupuncture or acupressure point stimulation. Of course, acupuncture, acupressure stimulation has been part of traditional Chinese medicine for millennia, and tapping uses this. And we actually call it tapping because what we're doing is we're gently tapping on some key points, key acupressure points with our fingertips. Okay, so that's one part, acupressure point stimulation. Now, the other thing that it does is we include various statements, affirmations, that therefore incorporates elements of talk therapy, specifically neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short, as well as mindfulness. So as we tap through these points, now, when you're tapping on yourself, you're just tapping on yourself and speaking out loud to yourself. But when you're working with a practitioner, you're both sort of mirroring each other. The practitioner guides the client in saying and repeating specific statements, and also in accessing specific issues that the client wants to work on whilst tapping. Okay, so by combining the acupressure point stimulation through tapping and certain elements of talk therapy, NLP, and mindfulness, what we do is immediately we are calming down the nervous system. We are activating the parasympathetic nervous system, so our breathing becomes more relaxed, our heart rate slows down. And in so doing, we are allowing ourselves or the client to connect with certain stressful either thoughts or emotions or memories. But because we're now in a parasympathetic nervous system mode, because we are more relaxed, we can have access to these normally stressful memories, thoughts, etc., from a different angle. So it allows this beautiful margin, this window of opportunity for the therapist to then very gently, very elegantly help the client release and process these stuck emotions. Okay, so maybe I jumped ahead there, so let's just rewind a little bit. Now, tapping is based on the premise that any negative thought or denser emotion, or perhaps unresolved memory from the past that is stressful in any way, creates a blockage in the body's energy field. And so the tapping part, the stimulation of these meridian endpoints, these acupressure points, helps us to actually release these blockages. It's a little bit like acupuncture, but without the needles. So what acupuncture does is it puts a tiny, tiny needle into a very specific point to help clear the stuck energy or chi. And so with tapping, it's a bit like psychological acupuncture without the needles. We are releasing any stuck emotions or negative thoughts or even physiological pain from the system. Therefore, tapping is excellent at releasing and transforming any emotions, undesired or unhelpful emotions, and transforming and releasing any undesired or unhelpful thoughts. So it's excellent at shifting your emotions and your thoughts. And this is really important. Why? Because your thoughts create your mood. Your mood dictates your behavior, your actions in life, and your actions and behavior in life completely dictate your life and how your life pans out. So it all begins at the level of the thought. If you have consistently disempowering thoughts going on in your mind, you're not going to feel good. When you don't feel good, we know that you tend to bring other people around you down. You also tend to attract negative or frustrating or irritating experiences to you. This is just the law of frequency. This is just the law of vibration and frequency. Like attracts like. It's as simple as that. So it all starts at the level of thought. If you can change your thoughts and if you can change your emotions, then you can really start to master yourself, and therefore also can have a lot more power over the way that your life pans out. And more importantly, no matter how your life pans out, you're mastering yourself anyway. So you're becoming super resilient, like a sage, like a wise person who is completely unaffected by external circumstances. That is self-mastery. So what can tapping help with? As a qualified EFT practitioner, I've helped hundreds of clients over the last 10 years, and I'll tell you that there's not much that tapping cannot help with. But it's excellent at releasing and transforming any form of anxiety, stress, fear, physical pain, grief, sadness, anything. I also use it a lot to really shift people's belief systems, because often belief systems are very self-limiting, and we are very much limited by these belief systems that we formed as a result of past trauma or negative experiences in life. So, we go through life, something bad happens, and we unconsciously form a belief about it. So let's just say my father left my mother at the age of 3. I may have developed the unconscious belief system that I am unlovable, that I am not good enough, that I will always be abandoned. And these belief systems love to reinforce themselves throughout life. Our brains love to find more reasons to confirm our beliefs. That's just what we are wired to do. Now, I love using tapping to completely transform somebody's limiting belief systems, even if they've had it for their whole life, even if they've had it for 2 decades. Now, if they want to change and they show up and they're committed to the process, tapping is an excellent tool to help people change and shift their limiting beliefs. So in my practice, I use tapping a lot to, like I said, help people release and transmute their negative emotions into self-empowerment, into confidence, into calmness, into peace. And I love to help them transform their limiting thoughts and beliefs into empowering ones. But I also use tapping quite often to help people safely, gently, and very elegantly process trauma, any kind of trauma. And now this can be quite severe trauma. And in fact, EFT has been used a lot to help veterans of war who have severe PTSD. And the clinical trials have shown that it is so effective, more effective than other forms of conventional therapy at helping people to overcome PTSD symptoms. So a lot of the work that I do with clients is focused on trauma, and I definitely use EFT for this. Tapping is excellent at pain. So a lot of the way that we feel pain in our body comes or is influenced by the way our minds perceive or judge the pain. So, it's called psychoneuroimmunology. So there is very much this body-mind connection, especially in our relationship to pain. So I've seen some almost miraculous shifts in people experiencing severe pain by using tapping. I once worked with a guy who came into my session with a cane, and he was keeled over. He couldn't stand up straight because of the pain. At the end of our hour-long session, the pain had disappeared and he didn't even need the cane to walk out the office. So, it's very, very interesting, this area of pain relief with tapping. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through what tapping looks like. So I mentioned these acupressure points. Tapping uses very specific acupressure points. Now, these points have been confirmed to be effective when compared with dummy or fake points. The specific tapping points matter. The order of the points doesn't matter quite as much, but in tapping we use this point here. We use the top of the head, the middle of the eyebrows, side of the eyes, under the nose, the chin, all around the collarbone, and then the side of the rib, either rib. And it doesn't matter if you skip a point. This is a very forgiving technique. But what tapping looks like is a gentle cyclic repetition of tapping through all of these points whilst talking about what we're feeling and what we're thinking. And that's the mindfulness part. So we're not running away from what we're feeling or thinking, we're going straight in. And in so doing, we're allowing ourselves to safely, mindfully, consciously acknowledge and process what it is that's actually going on, our current thoughts and feelings. Now, some people have an aversion to this. They go, oh, but isn't that me indulging in my negative thinking? Okay, well, what I'd say to that is, what you resist persists. So if you keep sweeping under the rug and denying what you're actually thinking and feeling, like all those negative thoughts and feelings, if you keep sweeping that under the rug, it's not going anywhere. It's just going to accumulate. So what tapping does is it's a little bit like a boiling pot of water. You need to let the steam escape. And this is what we're doing when we do self-tapping. We're letting the steam of our emotions and our possibly limiting negative thoughts escape. And what that does is it prevents us from accumulating all this emotional baggage that weighs us down, that brings down our energy, that brings down our mood, that starts to affect the whole household and everyone around us. You know, you can feel it, right, when someone's not in a good mood. I mean, it becomes quite heavy. So basically, it's our duty to work on ourselves, to be one step ahead of our thoughts and emotions. That's just basic self-care. And unfortunately, we're not taught these things at school. And this is the key to living a peaceful life, is to understand how to manage your emotions, how to regulate your nervous system, and how to become a master of your thoughts and your mind, and not a slave to your thoughts and your mind. Okay, so tapping. Tapping works by regulating your nervous system. It helps you to manage your emotions. It also helps you to start to transform the thoughts in your head, the limiting thoughts. So what it does, and it's been shown to do this in brain scans, is it starts to change the neural networks in the brain. So it starts to shift the certain neural circuits to get you to think differently. And in tapping, we use very specific phrases to get you to think differently, to get you to become open to a whole new perspective, a whole new feeling, a whole new possibility of change. And this is why it's so effective. Now, the good news is you can easily bring this into your daily life. Now, I'll show you what I do. What I do in my daily life is, if something triggers me and throws me off balance, if something happens that hurts me, if something happens that annoys or angers me, immediately, if I can, I go to a quiet place, a private place, and I start to self-tap. And sometimes it takes as little as 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, maybe 15, 20 minutes. But immediately I notice the difference. Let's say anger was triggered. So I was feeling, 10 out of 10 anger, really angry, which fortunately hardly ever happens. If I commit to tapping on myself for 15 minutes, I can reduce that anger to 0. I mean, I don't know anything else out there in the world that can work that effectively. So if I don't have the opportunity then and there to tap, what I do is I make a mental note of this moment in time and what's affected me and what's destabilized me, to tap later on. So then I go home, and next time I do have a spare minute, maybe it's that evening, I will go into my office and I will tap on myself. So now I want to make your life easier. So what I have done, and I continue to do this, is I will continue to create guided self-tapping videos, so that all you need to do is copy. You copy my guided self-tapping videos. And I guarantee if you do it, you will feel a shift in how you're feeling and how you're thinking. And you will feel lighter, and you will feel calmer and more empowered. So whenever you're feeling triggered, I would love for you to just go straight there, use a video, empower yourself. Know that you don't need to be a victim of circumstance. You don't need to be a victim to your mood or to your thoughts or to the things that happen to you. None of us need to. The sooner we can realize that we can actually master our thoughts and our emotions, the sooner we can feel truly liberated and understand how truly powerful we are. And this is game-changing, because the more that each of us as individuals do this, the quicker we get to world peace. Why? Because then you're not projecting your anger out onto others. You're not, reacting to circumstances that happen to you. You're literally managing, regulating yourself, your emotions. So that something bad happens, oh, you transform it into something positive. You transform it into confidence. You transform it into empowerment. And then you go out in your life and you emit that beautiful positive energy out onto others, inspiring others to also work on themselves, to know that there are other things are possible. This is a really beautiful thing, and it's simple, yet it's so profound. If each of us could do this self-work, then the whole world would change. And I think this is really important for the times that we're in, that are getting increasingly chaotic out there. So we need to learn how to stay centered and calm in here. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know, write it in the comments, and I hope you enjoy my tapping videos. As always, if you found this video helpful and inspiring, please do like and subscribe to my channel. It makes a world of a difference. And if you want more content like this that's even more exclusive and that goes deeper, then do consider subscribing to my Patreon channel.